Hello everyone, Namaste. This is Vinayak. I am back for you with class 9 politics lesson. That is, the name of the chapter is Electoral Politics. And today I have got some slides to share with you for your better understanding. Now we shall start with electoral politics. What does this chapter we have? In this chapter, what are the contents? The contents are about elections, why elections, what makes elections democratic, is it good to have a political competition, what is our system of election, what makes election democratic in India, and then I'll go with the conclusion part. Now, first we shall go with the elections. What do you mean by elections? As we all know, how we go for voting. Why we are voting? To choose our representatives. Choose our and they become our elected representatives who are representing the people of that region or that constituency for that. So what are elections? First we shall start with that. Election is a procedure that allows members of an organization or community to choose representatives who will hold positions of authority within it. That is, as I told you, we are the people are choosing the representatives who will hold the positions of the authority within it. The most important elections select the leader of local, state, and national governments. As India has three-tier system of government. Three-tier system means we are also called as federal government. What do you mean by federalism? In federalism, we say any country or any state which has more than two levels of government, it is considered as a federal type of government. So India is a federal country. So in federally we have three levels of government. What are those? One is the union government, that is we also call it as central government. Second one is the state government, that is regional government, that is state government. The third one is the Panchayat Raj government, that is the local governments. Panchayat Raj, municipality, everything. If it is rural, it comes under Zilla Parishad or Panchayat. If it is a town, it comes in the municipality. So that is all the third tier of government, which is called as Panchayat Raj government. So the chance to decide who will govern at these levels serves as the opportunity for the public to make choices about the policies, programs, and future direction of the government action. That is, elections are a chance that who is going to govern at these levels and serves at opportunity, takes it as opportunity to serve the public to and about the policies, programs, and future directions of the government action. At the same time, elections promote accountability. They give us accountability that what the government is doing, what our representatives, elected representatives are doing, what they have done. they will be accountable to the people. The threat of defeat at the polls means elections. The threat of defeat at the polls exerts pressures on those who are in power, to conduct themselves in a responsible manner and take account of popular interests and wishes when they make their decisions. So, before elections, you all know that every 5 years there is an election, whether it is state government or central government or panchayat raj. So in these 5 years, whoever is in the power, whichever government is in the power, they try to conduct themselves in a responsible manner, and they will take the account of popular interest and wishes, what the people need. All these things they will take while making decisions. Why they do? Because they want to come back into the power again. So that's why they work in such a way. Even opposition, the people who have lost the elections, those who are in the opposition, even the opposition parties also, they try to take account of the popular interest and they try to win the next elections. Now, why elections? Why elections? Elections take place regularly in any democracy. In any type of democracy, elections are to be conducted compulsorily, and they take place regularly in an fixed interval. For India, we have fixed it for 5 years. Every 5 years we have elections. We know that there are more than 100 countries in the world in which elections take place to choose people's representatives. To choose people, almost more than 100 means now more than 150 countries are democratic in the world, and every country has their own elections to choose their representative, choose the people's representatives. But why do we need elections? Why do we need? A rule of people is possible without any elections if all the people can sit together every day and take all the decisions. See, we call democracy as, in a simplest way, we call to the people, for the people, by the people, we call. So yes, rule of people is there, but if there are no elections or if there is no elected representative, then a rule of people is possible without any election, without conducting any election, if all the people can sit together every day and take all the decisions. That is not possible at all. 130 crores people, more than 130 crore people, they cannot sit together every day and take all the decisions. They cannot take. So that's why there should be one representative for these people. But we already know that this is not possible in a larger community, nor it is possible for everyone to have the time and knowledge to take decisions on all matters. So we do not have that much knowledge also to take the decisions on all matters. Therefore, in most democracies, people rule through their representatives. So people are ruling through their elected representatives. That's why we elect our candidate. In an election, the voters make many choices. They can choose who will make laws for them. They can choose who will make laws for them. They can choose who will form the government and take major decisions. They can choose the party whose policies will guide the government and lawmaking. So when there is a election which is announced means the voters will have many choices, so many. They can choose who will make laws for them. So they can decide to which party or which candidate they have to elect. And they can choose the strong party which can form the government and take major decisions. So in this way, they have all the right to choose. What makes election democratic? Conditions of a democratic elections. First, everyone should be able to choose. This means that everyone should have one vote and every vote should have equal value. So this is nothing but what we call universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise means the citizen having a right to vote and their single vote also will have equal value among the citizens of India, those who have right to vote. You know when you will get right to vote? That is at the age of 18 years. Universal adult franchise. You will get the universal adult franchise at the age of 18. Second, there should be something to choose from. Parties and candidates should be free to contest election and should offer some real choice to the voters. So the people should have a good choice whenever elections comes. We see so many political parties. So there will be rivals, there will be independent candidates, there will be from larger political parties, then some regional political parties, national political parties. But there should be some competition. There should be a real choice for the voters. Third, the choice should be offered at regular intervals. Always they should have the choice. Elections must be held regularly after every few years. Few years means we have for every 5 years. Fourth, the candidate preferred by the people should get elected. The candidate preferred by the people should get elected. Fifth, elections should be conducted in a free and fair manner where people can choose as they really wish. This is very, very important. The election should be conducted in a free and fair manner where people can choose as they really wish. But what we are seeing generally during elections, some people use money power, some people use muscle power. They distribute money to the voters, they distribute liquor to the voters, they distribute many things to the voters and they try to take that vote for their account. So this should not happen. So it should be conducted in a very free and fair manner where people should have every right and choice to vote. Is it good to have a political competition? Elections are thus all about political competition. This takes competition takes various forms. Competition takes various forms. The most obvious form is the competition among political parties at the constituency level. It takes the form of competition among several candidates. If there is no competition, elections will be pointless. There won't be any value or it becomes useless. So there should be competition among the political parties. And at the constituency level, there should be competition among several candidates. Candidates means the person who contests the election is called as candidate. But is it good to have political competition? Clearly, an electoral competition has many demerits. It creates a sense of disunity and factionalism. Clearly, a competition has many demerits, the disadvantages. It creates a sense of disunity and factionalism. Factionalism means again in every locality or area or a region, there will be disunity among the political parties and rivalries increase, and there will be a lot of violence which may happen. Different political parties and leaders often level allegations against one another. Parties and candidates often use dirty tricks to win elections. They use, as I told you, muscle power, money power, caste, religion, all these things are used. These are all nothing but dirty tricks to win elections. Some people say that this pressure to win electoral fights does not allow sensible long-term policies to be formulated. Some good people who may wish to serve the country do not enter this arena. So, some people say that this pressure to win electoral fights does not allow sensible long-term policies. It does not allow long-term policies to be formulated. Some good people who may wish to serve the country, but they cannot enter this arena. Arena means in this field, in this ground, they do not like the idea being dragged into healthy competition. There won't be much healthy competition. What is our system of elections? Now we shall learn what are the systems of our electoral system. Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. Vidhan Sabha means assembly elections are held every 5 years. After 5 years, the term of all elected representatives comes to an end. The Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha stands dissolved. They get dissolved after every 5 years. Elections are held in all constituencies at the same time, either on the same day or within few days. There will be some fixation of time period and dates, and nowadays okay, on a single day elections cannot be held, so they divide the constituencies for various days with very little gap, and this is called a general elections. Sometimes elections is held only for one constituency to fill the vacancy caused by death or resignation of a member. This is called a by-election. We call it as by-election. If there is no representative in a particular constituency, how it becomes vacant? Either if the elected representative resigns, or by chance it is due to the death of the representative, then again for that only that constituency elections will be conducted. That is called a by-election. Electoral constituencies. In our country, we follow an area based of representation, based system of representation. So the country is divided into different areas for purposes of elections. These areas are called electoral constituencies. The voter who lives in an area elect one representative. So wherever we are living, that areas are made into constituencies according to the area as well as population. So they divide the regions into various constituencies. For Lok Sabha elections, the country is divided into 543 constituencies. The representative elected from each constituency is called a member of parliament or MP. See, in our country, so much of large area and vast, so many states. So every area is covered by making one constituency as per the population. In that, so totally all over India, we have 543 constituencies. And one more thing I would like to share. If you watch the TV or the parliament session, or when you read about the elections after the formation of government, you see number of members in the Lok Sabha is 545. 545. But we have only 543 constituencies. So 543 constituencies, so 543 representatives are elected, MPs are elected. But how about the other two? 545 we were telling. Yes, Lok Sabha has 545 seats, where 543 are the elected MPs, those who are elected by the people directly, and two more are elected or nominated. We call it as nominated by the President of India. Who are those two members? They are the Anglo-Indians. They are the Anglo-Indians. Two MPs will be Anglo-Indians. Who are these Anglo-Indians? The people, the Europeans who settled down even after we got independence. Those people, the English people or the European people, are called as the Anglo-Indians, those who stayed back. Most of them are the British only, because British left giving freedom for us, and then many people settled down here only, they never went back. So those people are called the Anglo-Indians. So two representatives are there. Of these two are the representatives of the Anglo-Indians. So they are nominated by the President of India. One of the features of democratic election is that every vote should have equal value. That is why our constitution requires that each constituency should have a roughly equal population living within it. That is, every vote should have equal value, everybody's. So it requires that each constituency should have roughly equal population living within it. That's why they divided into 543 constituencies. Similarly, each state is divided into specific number of assembly constituencies. Assembly constituency will be smaller compared to Lok Sabha constituency. In this case, the elected representative is called the member of legislative assembly or an MLA. Each parliamentary constituency has within its several assembly constituencies. few assembly constituencies are clubbed together and that becomes one MP constituency, Member of Parliament's constituency. The same principle applies for panchayat and municipal elections. So each village or town is divided into several wards that are like constituencies. That are like constituencies. Each ward elects one member of the village or urban local body. Each ward will have one member of the village or the urban local body. So I'm sorry, there are few spelling mistakes which were in the slides. So you need to correct yourselves. Sometimes these constituencies are counted as states for each constituency represents one seat in the assembly. When we say that Lokdal, that is only Lokdal, L-O-K-D-A-L. Lokdal, it's a political party. 160 seats in Haryana. It means that candidates of Lokdal won in 60 assembly constituencies in the state, and thus Lokdal has 60 MLAs in the state assembly. So now we will learn about reserved constituencies. What are reserved constituencies? The makers of our constitution thought of a special system of reserved constituencies. They are reserved for the weaker sections. Some constituencies are reserved for people who belong to scheduled caste SCs and scheduled tribes STs. In a SC reserved constituency, only someone who belongs to SC, who is a scheduled caste, can only stand or contest the election. Similarly, so what happens if it is like that? The political parties choose that particular, if it is a SC reserved constituency, they will choose a SC candidate for fielding him for the election. Similarly, only those belonging to scheduled tribes can contest an election from a constituency reserved for ST. Currently in Lok Sabha, 79 seats are reserved for the scheduled caste, SCs. 79 out of 543, 79 are reserved for the scheduled castes and 41 for the scheduled tribes. 41 seats are reserved for STs. Voters list. What is voters list? In a democratic election, the list of those who are eligible to vote, that is, once anyone attains 18 years of age, they can go to the municipal office, enroll themselves in the voters list so that they can get the election card and they can vote for the coming elections. So that's why it is nothing but the data of all the people, those who are eligible to vote. That list is called voters list. So it will be always prepared much before the elections and it is given to everyone. This list is officially called as electoral roll. We call it as electoral roll and is commonly known as voters list. This is an important step for it is linked to the first condition of democratic elections. This is an important step for it is linked to the first condition of a democratic election. Everyone should get an equal opportunity to choose representatives. We already discussed. universal adult franchise. In this practice, it means that everyone should have one vote and each vote should have equal value. See here, just a small data is given. Total number of constituencies 543, general 423, reserved for SC 79, reserved for ST 41, state constituencies. Andhra Pradesh has 42. Now it has been divided into Telangana also. Like that, every state, and there would be many more changes for the next coming elections because Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Ladakh has become a separate union territory. So there would be some changes in the constituencies. Election campaigning. What is election campaigning? Campaigning is nothing but it's like advertising about the political party or the candidate. The main purpose of election is to give people a chance to choose the representatives, the government and the policies they prefer. Therefore, it is necessary to have a free and open discussion about who is better representative, which party will make a better government, or what is good policy. That is what happens during election campaigns. So whenever there is an election campaign, all that particular political party leaders, they go and then they talk over the mic in a public meeting, and they talk about if they come to power what they are going to do. They have a list of programs what they had decided, if they are going to implement any policies. All this they will prepare well before the elections are announced, and this list what they prepare is called manifesto. Every political party has a manifesto what they are going to do for the next 5 years if they get elected. So all these things will be there in the manifesto. So it is like a public debate. In a public meeting when they speak, they mention all the development or policies or the laws what they want to implement and all those things, and then people will get a chance to compare between various political parties and the candidate, especially representative, whether they are capable worth or not. So people will get a choice to choose a better representative. In our country, such campaigns take place for a 2 week period between the announcement of the final list of candidates and the date of polling. So they'll give some time for campaigning. During this period, the candidates contact their voters, political leaders address election meetings, and political parties mobilize their supporters. According to our new election law, no party or candidates can bribe or threaten the voters. Money power and muzzle power, they should not use it. Appeal to them in the name of caste or religion. So they should not appeal them in the name of caste, caste, castes or religion. For example, if there is more population of Reddis in a particular area, in a region, the political party tries to field a candidate of that same community only, of that same caste only, like Reddy, so that they can uh, get some votes from that particular caste or religion. So this should not happen actually. Use government resources for election campaign. Even though the ruling government, they should not use any government resources for election campaigning. And every candidate is supposed to spend only below 20 lakhs. They should not spend more than 20 rupees 20 lakh in a constituency in an assembly election. Use any place of worship or election propaganda. They should not use any place of worship like temple or mosque or a church or anything else. They should not use that platform for their election propaganda, because India is a largest democratic country and we follow secularism. So we respect all the religions. They even the ruling government should not use government vehicles, aircrafts, and officials for election purposes. Once elections are announced, ministers shall not lay any foundation stone of any project, take any big policy decisions, or make any promise of providing public facilities. They should not provide, they should not sign any new agreements or any of the projects. So, otherwise, they will come under the code of conduct. Code of conduct will be given by the election commission before elections. So now just you see this slide. Why do you bother? You can go. I got your vote cast. So this is like a voter and a politician. So they are doing all illegal activities. Now, polling of and counting of votes. What is this? In your textbook, if you open, you will find a small map of Gulbarga constituency. Gulbarga, where is it? It is in Karnataka. So there, what was the analysis of that election, that particular constituency? It is given. Here also, you see what is the party, candidate name, the political party they belong to, votes polled, percentage of votes. So here, Iqbal Ahmed Saradgi, INC means Indian National Congress, BJP Bharatiya Janata Party, JDS Janata Dal Secular, BSP. Like that, there are different political parties. So, what is their share of votes? All that is given. What makes elections in India democratic? We get to read a lot about unfair practices in elections like inclusion of false names, exclusion of genuine names in the voters list, misuse of government facilities and officials by the ruling party. So ruling party tries to influence all the things because they are already into the power. Excessive use of money by rich candidates and big parties, big political parties, they use excessive money. Intimidation of voters and rigging on the polling booth. That is, even what do you mean by rigging? Casting all the votes of other people. That is called rigging. Independent Election Commission. Very few election commissions in the world have such wide-ranging powers as Election Commission of India. India has a very powerful organization, that is Election Commission of India. They are not answerable to the government. They are only answerable to the President of India. Election Commission takes decision on every aspect of conduct and control of elections, from the announcement of elections to the declaration of results. That is, that much they have the duty. It implements the code of conduct and punishes any candidate or party that violates it. Anyone violating the code of conduct, they will be punished by the election commission. During the election period, the election commission can order the government to follow some guidelines to prevent use and enhance its chances to win election or to transfer some government officials when on election or to transfer some government officers work under the control of election commission and not the government. So even election commission has the right to transfer the government officials, and during the election period they give some guidelines to the government and all the political parties and the candidates how they have to behave and what they have to do, what are the do's and don'ts, both are given to them. See here, there are some, in this slide, there are some data of various, there was the comparison between voter turnout in India and the UK. So 2004 election turnout, it is given 1990, all these things, data is given here. The outcomes of India's elections speak for itself. The ruling parties routinely lose elections in India both at the national and state level. In fact, in every 2 out of the 3 elections held in the last 15 years, the ruling party lost. But you all know what happened in the 2014 election and 19 election. In the center, the ruling party only won with more majority, and now again the same party has formed the government, NDA government, not BJP. BJP and along with few more like-minded political parties, they have come together and formed the government. That's why we call it as National Democratic Alliance, NDA. Even though BJP got high full majority, it did not form government by itself, but it invited all its alliance parties. In the US, an incumbent or sitting elected representative rarely loses an election. In India, about half of the sitting MPs lose elections. Barring very few disputed elections, the electoral outcomes are usually accepted by the people's verdict by the country. See, what was the need to say that we have distributed tickets among suitable and winnable family relation in a conference? Challenges to free and fair elections. All these lead to a simple conclusion, that is, elections in India are basically free and fair. The party that wins an election and forms government does so because people have chosen it over its rivals. People have chosen, people have given votes. Can ordinary citizen hope to win election? Questions of this kind bring the many limitations and challenges of Indian elections to our attention. These includes candidates and parties who with lot of money may not be sure of their victory. They cannot win. They are not sure. But they do enjoy a big and unfair advantage over smaller parties and independents, because independents and smaller party cannot invest much money. They cannot spend money, but larger parties, they can spend money. So that will be advantageous for them, and the chances of winning will increase. In some parts of the country, candidates with criminal connections have been able to push others out of the electoral race and to secure a ticket from major parties. And in our country, even the people who have criminal cases, connections, they are being given tickets by the party to contest elections. So, but now what happened? Nowadays, election commission, when the party candidate goes for nomination to give his name to the election authorities. So at that time, the election authorities take an affidavit where they should declare their income, their wealth, and they should mention whether if they have any criminal cases on them, or if they do not have anything, they should mention that. Some families tend to dominate political parties. Tickets are distributed to relatives from those families. This is very, very common in our country. Most of the ministers or MLAs, MPs, they try to bring their family members also into politics, and they try to procure seats for them also. Very often, elections offer little choice to ordinary citizens, for both the major parties are quite similar to each other, both in policies and practice. Smaller parties and independent candidates suffer a huge disadvantage compared to bigger parties. So they have to suffer because all the above reasons. So finally, these challenges exist not only just in India but also it may in many established democracies. There are many challenges, many problems. These deeper issues area matter of concern for those who believe in democracy. As we are believing in democracy, we have a lot of issues in the matter of concern of democracy. That is why citizens, social activists, and organizations have been demanding reforms in our electoral system. Reforms means changes, corrections. They have come now. Many reforms are coming regularly, and so children, you need to study the textbook, and unless you read the textbook, you cannot understand the lesson. Excuse me. You need to study that. You need to underline the key points in your textbook with a pencil. Then note down those key points. Prepare your running notes in your classworks or notebooks. Then go with textbook reading thoroughly, and then go with your material or whatever, and then answer your assignments or question answers and all those things. So unless you read textbook, you never follow the chapter. So please read the textbook and prepare your notes, running notes. That is, key points should be noted down and then learn them. So that will make you to understand easier and make your subject very easy for you. So thank you.